Hey guys, welcome to another bonus episode of Let's Play Banjo and Kazooie. In the last episode, we took a look at all the other cheat codes in the game that weren't related to Bottles' secret puzzle game. We unlocked worlds, we unlocked obstacles, we unlocked infinite health items and projectiles and feathers and all that other good stuff. So we got a lot, and we learned a valuable lesson about, Grunty and save data and cheating. She does not like cheating. She'll delete your save data if you put too many in. In today's bonus video, we are going to be taking a look at what was hinted at the very ending, the true ending of the game. Mumbo had special pictures he showed us with special items that we could unlock in this game, and these items are in conjunction with an idea that Rare had done a long time ago. This whole item, these items are called Stop and Swop items. Stop and Swop was a special idea that Rare had that could be done in conjunction with Banjo-Kazooie and its sequel game, Banjo-Tooie. These items are special eggs and a special ice key that you can collect in the game if you use certain cheat codes at the Sandcastle in Treasure Trove Cove. These items could be used. The idea was that the items that you collect in Banjo-Kazooie, these Stop and Swop items, could be used in Banjo-Tooie using a special method of transferring your items over. Back in the day, Rare had learned that the N64's RAM could retain memory from the game cartridge if it was pulled out while the power was on. And you had like 10 seconds of RAM memory still stored in it. I think it was 10 seconds. I can't remember what the number is. I'll put it up on the screen if it isn't. But what the idea was is you would take your copy of Banjo-Kazooie while it was plugged into the N64, and you would take it out quickly and put in Banjo-Tooie within that 10 seconds while the power was on. And those items would transfer over to the next game using this method. It was called Stop and Swop. Well, unfortunately, later versions of the N64, this whole process of stopping and swapping cartridges like this in this method was reduced down to like a second. So ultimately, Rare had to basically can this whole idea of stop and swap. Well, they kept the items in the game, and you can access the items in the game normally by putting these cheat codes in and going and collecting the items in the game world. These are purely for bragging rights in the N64 version, but in the 360 version, they implemented Stop and Swap correctly. They actually went ahead and implemented Stop and Swap correctly in this version. You can use Stop and Swap items in both Banjo-Tooie on the Xbox 360 version, as well as Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, the 360 game, kart racing game. So these items are actually useful, and you can go collect them, and you actually use them as the intended purposes. Because, save data transferring is a lot easier in today's day and age, and hardware and everything else. I say today's day and age, but, this 360s and 7th generation console, and we're now in the 9th generation. So, that's pretty much that. So, we're going to be going over to Treasure Trove Cove, and I'm going to be entering in each of these codes. And once I do, I'm going to be showing you where you can collect the item that you unlock with the code. There's a set series of codes that you can put in these in the game to collect these items, and each item has a code, and it's in each location, in a certain location in the game. So I'm going to be going and doing that just now. Alright, so before I say anything, these codes have to have the word cheat before you start putting the code in like the other cheat codes. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, these cheat codes are kind of really long, lengthy cheat codes. So the first one is for the pink egg. It's called Out of the Sea Rises the to reveal more secret prizes. I'll have it up on the screen when I talk about this. But this one's actually kind of here in Treasure Trove Cove, as we'll see here in just a second. But yeah, you need to make sure you put the word cheat in front of your cheat code for the stop and swap stuff before you do anything. Just like the other cheat codes that we put in the last bonus video. But yeah, as soon as you put it in, Bottles will give you a warning. He'll say, Banjo, if you use this cheat, saving will be stopped, and your score will not be posted to the leaderboards. Are you sure you want to use this cheat? Press A to come for yes, B for no. Yeah, just, the usual stuff here. But once you do, a cave entrance will appear on that island, that very far distance island that we saw in Treasure Trove Cove, and it didn't have it before. And we actually saw a picture of this with Mumbo in the true ending of the game. He showed us that, hey, there's a secret cave here. The only way you can access this is by using that cheat code. So as soon as you go in here, you'll hear a triumphant victory sound. that indicates, hey, you did it right. But before we can get the stop and swap item, we have to do this one last challenge, and that's just, doing this hugging wall motion that we have been doing for quite a number of worlds here in the game. So you have to climb this giant pillar in the middle of the room by doing this, double jump challenge that we've done in a couple worlds, like Clanker's Cavern and Click-Lock Wood and all that other stuff. So you're just gonna keep climbing till the top of the tippity top of this pillar here. And once you have gotten to the top, you'll see there's a platform right there that you can get on, and then you can do your backflip, and you'll be rewarded with a pink question-marked egg. This is our first stop and swap item. And Banjo says, ooh, an egg. That's one of the 7 stop and swap items we've been looking for. I reckon it'll unlock something special in my Nuts and Bolts adventure. Can't wait. Yeah, these are actually used in Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, but they're also used in Tooie. So you can use them in Tooie for later things too. So it's not just Nuts and Bolts, as Banjo mentions. The second code here, like I said, you have to put cheat in front of the cheat code before you do anything. It says, cheat, a desert door opens wide, ancient secrets wait inside. This code is actually going to be a code that we're going to be using for, it's actually for a special area that we had access to. We haven't had access to in Gobi's Valley, of all places, as you can tell by the desert in the cheat code. So we're going to be going to the desert world. This one is kind of really hard to do these cheat codes sometimes, because it's just like, whenever you do any cheat code, if you mess up in any one of them, you have to redo the whole entire cheat code again. And these cheat codes are kind of a little bit lengthy. And whenever you get words that have apostrophes in them, you kind of think like, well, should I have the apostrophes in them? But yeah, once we put this code in, Banjo says, Bottles will give us the warning that he always does about posting the leaderboards. I don't know why they disable saving and on the stop and swap codes. You'd think they would just let you do it, because they're just items that you get in the game. But yeah, there it is. That's the area in Gobi's Valley we need to go to, which is actually where we met Gobi that one time. This is where he got the honeycomb piece from Gobi. But we can actually go inside the door now because we unlocked it with the cheat code. And once we go in, the triumphant music happens again, and we can actually go and activate the switch, and the sarcophagus will reveal a blue question mark egg. So there's our second stop and swap item. And Banjo will say, wow, another one of those special stop and swap eggs. Hope this isn't a cruel joke and we can actually use them this time. That's actually kind of an Easter egg text there, because they couldn't use stop and swap in the original game at all. So they were just kind of making fun of it. But now we're on to the next one. Like I mentioned before, and I'm going to say this every time we put it in there, you need to put the word cheat in front of your cheat code before to activate it. So this one is cheat. Don't you go and tell her about the secret in her cellar. This one is actually fairly easy to get. It's not that hard to find. When clue is cellar, that means we go to the cellar in Mad Monster's mansion. One thing I forgot to mention, and these stop and swap items. You have to have a clean save file. I mean, like clean. Like you haven't done it on the cartridge, and if you have an N64 cartridge, or you have a brand new profile on your Xbox, in order to activate all these at once. And I'll go into more detail here in a second. But yeah, here's Banjo. Here, I keep saying Banjo. I mean Bottles. There's Bottles. It gives you the warning about the leaderboards again. Really, I just don't understand why they disable saving for this, but yeah, you can go and do that, and then you can save later, and you can save this. But yeah, there, and one of the wine barrels in the cellar in Mad Monster Mansion actually holds one of the stop and swap items. So once we put this code in, we can actually just go inside this one. Try it, when music happens again, we get a cyan egg. I think that's the correct color, but there's no flavor text this time. I think it's only those 2 eggs that we get flavor text for. But yeah, there we go. We got the next one. Now the next stop and swap item. Like I said, you have to put cheat in front of the word, in front of the code. It says admit. I can never say that word. Amidst the haunted gloom, a secret in the bathroom. Amidst. I have a really hard time pronunciating words sometimes. But yeah, this one I actually screwed up quite a bit because I forgot how you spell admits. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, but so this one is another one that's in Mad Monster Mansion. Yeah, there's 2 of these things in Mad Monster Mansion. And this one is kind of, as soon as you enter the room, it's right there. And there's going to be a couple of stop and swap items that are like that. So once you enter the room, it's just right there. But what I was talking about is you have to have clean save files for both a profile or a cartridge in order to activate stop and swap. Once you activate stop and swap, it's activated, and preceding playthroughs will have these unlocked already. So this one's above the toilet, where we had to be a pumpkin in order to go inside the toilet, get him to flush us. So as soon as you enter here, yeah, the room automatically has it in here. So you can just jump onto the top of the toilet here, and you get yourself a green question mark egg. That one's pretty easy. And the next one's pretty easy too. It's gonna be in the next room. Just a simple room. This one is this secret you'll be grabbing in the captain's cabin. And this is what I was talking about. You have to be very careful on how you spell things, because grabbing is, slang word. It's not grabbing. Grabbing is not a word. It's more of a shortening of the word grabbing. So yeah, just make sure you're using the correct pronunciation of grabbing whenever you put in this code in. But yeah, you need to have a clean save file for both a profile that does not have stop and swap activated with these cheat codes, or a cartridge that does not have these already unlocked and used on it, because preceding playthroughs on either or will have these already unlocked, and you don't have to put the codes in again. I know that that's not a real big problem for most people. Once you activate them once, you're all good. But I was trying to record this and I wanted to show it off, so it was kind of hard to get another one to, show it off. I had a couple save files that were ready for stop and swap if I needed to, but there you go. That one's in a captain's cabin in Rusty Bucket Bay. This one, we've been in here before. This is where the Jiggy was that was in the closet of this room. So as soon as you come over here, yeah, the music's already activates, and the egg's right there on the bed. So the red question mark egg is just sitting right there on the bed. So yeah, that's pretty easy. Yeah, but yeah, as soon as we do that, we can leave, and we have actually one more egg to get. If we come back in here and use this cheat code, this one says, now Banjo will be able to see it on Nabnut's table. So yeah, as you can tell, this egg is going to be in Nabnut's house, and it depends. It actually is very important that you know which time on Nabnut's table it shows up. This one in particular is during winter, so you have to come and get this egg during winter time. So you have to go in Nabnut's room and click lock wood during winter in order to get this stop and swap egg. As soon as I put it in here, I sped this up like 300 times so we weren't sitting here for 20 minutes. Yeah, it literally takes about like 3 minutes to put these codes in. So it's really long. But then again, the other codes were kind of the same way. So yes, bottles for the umpteenth time, I don't care. Yeah, so during winter, when Nabnuts is sleeping with his girlfriend, you can come in here into his house and get a special yellow stop and swap egg. So we're just going to jump into his house, break in while he's sleeping and hibernating, and come over here and steal a yellow question mark egg. I don't know what he's doing with this, but and there we go. We got another stop and swap egg. And that's our last egg that we can get. But there's one more stop and swap item, and that's the ice key. So, like the other ones, you have to put cheat in front of it. But this code says, now you can see a nice ice key, which you can have for free. It's kind of a, alliteration. Everything kind of rhymes together. But yeah, this is a special key that you can use in Banjo-Tooie. This one unlocks a special collectible that you can use. That's only in Banjo-Tooie. It's a special collectible that you can use for a special unlock in the game. But this one is actually something we saw in the true ending to Banjo-Kazooie. They showed it off in one of Mumbo's pictures. Yeah, I think they showed off the one in Treasure Trove Cove and one in Gobi's Valley, and they showed this ice key off. So the ice key is actually in Freezeezy Peak. Duh, makes sense. But yeah, this one is actually in Waza's cave. If you'll see it, you see that where we got that Jinjo earlier. We got the Jinjo earlier in Waza's cave in Freezeezy Peak. It's back there, and I think I showed it off in the playthrough. Like, hey, there's something back there. Just keep that in mind for later. Well, later's now, so yeah. If you walk into Waza's cave, back where we can get that Jinjo. So we can get that over here, and sure enough, there's an ice key over here, and we can collect it. And with that, we have gotten every single stop and swap item. Cool, an enormous ice key. We should keep this stop and swap item for later. Hey Banjo, we found all the stop and swap items. Time to ditch the checklist and stash them away for use in Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. But yeah, guys, once you've collected all the stop and swap items in the game, if you go into your menu, into View Totals, and if you go over to, I think, all the way over, right here, it'll have a new menu up here for stop and swap, and it'll basically tell you all the colored eggs and the ice key that if you're missing any. So this is a good little checklist if you need to have it. So just keep that in mind for whenever you're doing stop and swap. I should also mention, and I did fail to mention this at the beginning, during my little recap of what stop and swap was, you must have a clean save file if you want to go through the process of unlocking everything. Stop and swap is only for one game it's per game cartridge. So if you had use Stop and Swap on a game cartridge on your N64, you can no longer use these cheats. They will always be activated, in a sense, if that makes sense. Even if you clear the data of every save data in the game, Stop and Swap will have been used up. So, you can still unlock them, and when you go into these rooms to collect the item will still be there. But if you wanted to, like, re-put in all the codes and stuff like that, you can't do that anymore. Same kind of goes for the 360 version in a way. This is one reason why I used a fresh save file for the Let's Play file, was because I was trying to be able to show the process of unlocking Stop and Swap. Basically, if you use a different profile, you can circumvent this and kind of start over on Stop and Swap if you want to do that. But yeah, any profile that unlocked Stop and Swap, you can no longer redo Stop and Swap, I guess, in a way. The best way I could describe it. Yeah, so any profile that had used Stop and Swap once, you can only use it once. And that's it. Like I said before, the items will still be there and everything will be unlocked. You just have to, you can still go collect them even on fresh save files. So just remember that if you had unlocked it once, you can just get them in subsequent playthroughs. So just keep that in mind. If you wanted to do the whole process of putting in those long passwords again, you're going to have to use a new gamer profile on the 360 version, or get a new cartridge in the N64 version. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Stop and Swap. These items can be used in the 360 version for both Banjo-Tooie and Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts, as they prominently have advertised throughout this port of this game. Yeah, these are used for like special unlocks in Tooie. You can get, special like gamer picks and stuff like that, and you can even get a special transformation for Kazooie in Tooie. And it's used for car parts and nuts and bolts. So, at least, Rare was able to use Stop and Swap effectively in these ports of these games. A lifelong dream achieved, if you know what I mean. But yeah, that's going to be it for Banjo-Kazooie. We have basically showed off everything in this game and what this game has to offer. And I'm so glad I was able to show it off for you guys. Thank you guys so much again for watching this Let's Play of this game for me. This game means a lot to me. I love this game to death. It's one of my all-time favorite games. And I'm just glad I got to show it off for you guys to basically my interpretation of what my childhood was playing this game. So, with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video I do. Take care, everyone.